Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to the Mind Emo Body program. So excited to be here. I couldn't even wait properly again get meet up, guys. It's so much about the reality of stuff to me, where just this 3D bullcrap just doesn't even matter to me as much as getting this stuff out. So just jumping in right where we left off. We were talking about our goals. We were talking about making smart goals and smart mantras. So when we're having our goals and our mantras, we're having specific, measurable, achievable at least somewhat, and very riveting, relevant, and timely stuff all put together. So when it comes out, it's going to look something maybe like, in a good format that you could use is, now that it's August 16th, which is the next new moon, I have, lost 2 inches off my waist, or I'm, 2 inches slimmer on my waist would be a good way to put it, kind of in the present as opposed to the past. We want to always keep it in that present tense. You've got the quantity, you got the who, what, when, where, why. Basically, it's very specific. Okay, you've got the quantity, so it's measurable. You've got the time, and it's somewhat, again, achievable. I feel like 2, 4 inches, whatever you feel like is at least somewhat realistic and riveting at the same time. Okay, can't be a boring, oh, I can surely do that, I've done that 100 times. No, we want this to be big and exciting, worthy of your time and energy, worthy of it, something that moves you. If you're not in the habit of going through life following your heart and following your passions as what moves you, then I highly suggest you need to make that shift, because that's what life is about. We should not be operating off of what other people think we should be doing. I realize sometimes we have to care for others and do things that we don't like to do, but as much as possible, make time for yourself. And that's part of self-care, is following your own goals and your own passions, because that's where that comes into you being the specific person that is unlike anybody else in the world, just like a snowflake or, whatever, a butterfly wing or a fingerprint. So you have your mantra. What do you do now? Okay, we did our one exercise. We talked about our bullseye exercise. So you've got that handy. You keep that around. Don't file that somewhere and forget about it. Keep that around. And then you want to move on with your post-it notes, basically like do a post-it note challenge where you are putting up your mantras, writing it out, 5, 10, whatever feels good. Again, don't listen to arbitrary numbers of what other people think. If you want to tell yourself the magic of 3 is the magic number for you because you're busy and you want to do things quick and efficient, then by all means, again, follow your heart. Follow what feels good. Get used to stopping and asking yourself, is this really what I want? Is this really what I should do? Because again, these distractions are rampant in this society, and we can be like, oh my gosh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that. And who knows, we're following what we're getting into next. And we forgot all about our goal that was sitting here that we've really wanted to do forever. This is it's like starts with the thoughts again. Making the choice is the very first step. Because a lot of people do not make the choice, and you'll hear that a lot over whatever industry you're looking at. The first step is always make the choice that you want to do this, that you are for real. It's a commitment. You're stating it. You're writing it. It may look crazy. People come in and see you got Post-its all over your bathroom mirror, but you know what? You're committed to this, so you're willing to do that. Okay, so again, that's why it's something that's going to be exciting enough and worthy of your time and attention, because it has that emotional passion. And again, if it doesn't have that emotional passion, but it's something that you thought you always wanted, revisit that. Look at that before you even start. I talk about that a lot in, again, the program of the Holistic Law of Attraction. But now, so we figured it out. You did your little tournament if you needed to, because you had so many distractions. You've got a couple of those. 1, 2, or 3 maybe mantras, different ones for different areas of your life that you're putting around. You're going to have to move them every so often because your brain will get used to them and then kind of avoid looking at them. So move them. And again, I just want to throw this out there. Don't necessarily think you have to wait till the next new moon or something for you to update and alter and change and tweak. Again, if you're losing that passion because this mantra isn't hitting right, take them all down and start over. And again, a lot of times you'll find that maybe whereas your goal was pretty much right, or you tweaked it, and then wow, I just tweaked the mantra just a little bit and it works a lot better and it activates a lot better. So if you need help, again, guys, with my coaching, I incorporate a lot of this, whether it's for fitness or losing weight or for whatever part of your life. I can help you kind of frame these mantras, choose these mantras, set them up properly, and help you with the timing, kind of the moon and all of that stuff to help you, and even get into deeper into astrology and tarot and help you with that stuff. So send the questions and just send an email first to make sure I have some availability before sending any payment for any type of training or consultation or anything like that. Okay, so the mantras, okay, so we have our bullseye, and our bullseye, if we've done this correctly, our bullseye from the previous videos, it's supporting our vision. It's expanding our clarity on our vision, because you're sitting there, you're spending time and hopefully taking notes and writing down what comes to mind, the details, the full on details from, again, hopefully in the same order, as it's going to happen. We think about things before they happen. So you're going to think about your thoughts first. Once you achieve your goal, what are your thoughts? Once you achieve your goal, what are your next actions? What are your next habits that you're going to set up, and processes and results that you're going to be looking for and moving towards? Okay, so always kind of have that moving horizon line going. But so the point of, and see, I think especially, guys, when you're trying to change your body, it's really hard because we are in our bodies, and it's really hard to be imaginative about something when your physical reality is different. When you're unshape, out of shape, or whatever, and you don't feel good in your body, it's very hard to imagine. And I speak from personal experience, it's very hard to do these mantras and to apply the law of attraction. And that's where I think a lot of people will use this more for money and things. And I think there's like a disconnect with using it. We try to use it. I've been trying for a long time, I feel like now I'm finally coming into it better after all these years. But that's because I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't, when you sit down, you're supposed to imagine, the car, imagine yourself in the car, imagine the steering wheel, the wind, you got to imagine the details, right? That's how you get that emotional boost. That's one way to do it. But you have to see it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen on a practical level. If you can't imagine it, you're not going to be able to anticipate anything. You're not going to be able to plan. You're not going to be able to get there. So it's just like a map. If you don't have a plan of where you're going or an idea of a route to follow, then you're not going to go anywhere. So it helps you to be able to clearly imagine and then start to feel. And then it helps you bring it into reality in your mind's eye. And then that'll help you bring it into reality and believe that you can bring it into reality, and then act on it, and then help you actually physically bring your dreams into reality. We can do this. We are doing this. So again, you have your bullseye, you have your goal in the middle, you have your thoughts and your plans and everything else that came to you in the exercise on kind of this bullseye page. So you can look at it. You've got ultimately a clearer picture of the future that you're moving for. And this is, again, should be a moving document. You can redo it. You can add to it. I definitely have done that for some of my things. You can different, things will come later, scratch that out and add something else, because your vision will change. You will think of things and be like, oh no, that's a better idea. I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on this. And it just leads you, and it should be leading you to creation of more mantras. Okay. Because you'll realize, oh, well, now that I have this, I want that. So I'm going to add that to my mantra. You know what I mean? And so then you can kind of build these supporting mantras, which is really handy when you're kind of creating your story. And this is great for, especially if you did decide to attack a couple of different aspects of your life and you have more than one mantra and you kind of want to keep track of them. I do recommend kind of taking your bullseye information, writing out a few of your top key, the most feel-good statements and mantras using the formulas we've already talked about, and putting it all onto one piece of paper. Okay. And that way, again, I just like to be able to see everything and get a clear picture in my mind, even if you don't focus on the details at that time. You know the details, and it just helps you to get it faster. So I would say if I had three, I would just draw my, have three spaces on my paper, and then have the mantras that you selected for each section of your life. So that way, again, just a bird's eye view, real quick. Oh, great energy. You can sometimes, what I like to do is just look at the page and say whatever mantra pops out to me at that moment. If I'm busy, it doesn't always have to be you sit down and you do 10 minutes of mantras. Again, if 10 minutes seems like a lot, do a 3, do 2, do 1, like do 2. Do them when you start feeling low blood sugar, cranky, hopeless, annoyed, moody, whatever. Do the mantras. Do the mantras before you do any work, okay? Before you do any work, you're doing the mantras for that particular section of your life, okay? This is very important. Dana Wilde has this as feel good first. You feel good before you work. It's not all about the action. It's, again, if it was all about acting, people who would be working out the most would always have the best bodies, and people, that doesn't happen. You get burnt out, you get, all this stuff. Like, this is all a balancing act, and it's fun because it really becomes a lifestyle. And again, it's this constant motion, constant momentum, building off of the last stuff. And then you get into this constant motion where it's literally like the time machine. It's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but it's your past self is now doing everything, always consistently setting you up for success. And you're just looking back at yourself like, hey, Barbie, thanks, Barbie. Like, good job, Barbie. Thanks for setting me up for success today, because what you did yesterday was an awesome choice. And like, you just know that, and you can tell yourself that. And again, you get this great momentum because you can look back at your past decisions and say, wow, that really worked, or that didn't work and I fixed it, and now we're going to move forward. Either way, you're solidifying, you're wrapping up the coins, you're wrapping up the pentacles, you're moving into the next cycle and starting over with holistic law of attraction. So again, I can help you kind of get into any of this deeper, and I can and I will. So and this is especially important again for and the weight loss, and it's hard to imagine, like I said, especially if you've been out of shape for most of your life, all of your life, or if you've been poor like for all of your life, most of your life. These are really deep grooves of trains of thought that you are stuck in, and that train track does not want to get off the train track, and we are stuck thinking 90% of the same thoughts every single day. And if those are negative, that's why you're getting the same results and nothing ever seems to happen for you. That's why. And we can stop that, you guys. We have a reticular activating system. Dana Wilde, again, always talks about this, explains it very well. They actually identify the part of your brain now that does this. It matches up the inner and the outer. If this is not matching up, we're either crazy or we are manifesting. Because if your inner doesn't match your outer, like that's part of being in reality together. Our brains all have to match up, and the inner has to match the outer again, or we're either crazy or we're purposefully manifesting something, right? So our reticular activating system is just all the time on active mode, making things match. That's why be careful, because your subconscious does not understand sarcasm, and it does not understand negative self-talk. So, if you're like, oh crap, I did it again, why do I always do that? Even those little statements, your subconscious is taking seriously. So don't let yourself slip. If you catch yourself, don't be mad at yourself for doing it. Be happy that you're finally able to escape from this programming, and it's amazing, and now things are going on the right track. And again, you have the capacity and the ability to frame everything positively in your life as much as possible. Now, we don't want to do this toxic positivity where you're never addressing anything that's negative in your life. That's not what we're doing here. We're not about that. But again, when you kind of use this as a lifestyle, as a vehicle, it can do really great things for you. And again, if you're not actively manifesting positive things in your life, then by society, by default, you're probably going to be getting worse and getting, basically doing the opposite of living your best life. You're living a life of decliners or stagnancy, which is non-existent in our life. So really it's decline. So feel good first before you do the work. You can do less work if you feel good. And that goes with fitness as well, because when you're lifting weights, if you're just going through the motions, same thing. It's about the mind. There's coming out this, everybody's talking about it. It's about the mind muscle activation. There's studies on it. It's a real thing. Another, it's just like another science thing, just like phantom limb. I wanted to talk about that too. I didn't touch on this when we talked about multiple personality disorders. This is another example of how our brains are so flippin' crazy powerful. We lost a limb and now we're having pain, actual pain, or itching or whatever in that limb that is no longer physically there. So freaking powerful. Okay, so we're using the whole premise here. We are very clearly, we're using our thoughts to tap into the emotional belief. We're not using our thoughts to run through the motions and then pretend like something's going to happen. This is holistic law of attraction. We are taking the thoughts, and when you repeat a thought long enough, we all know if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes true. It becomes a belief, because that's just the way it works. You just do it enough and it becomes, we're creatures of environment, It's just the way that it is. So when you get to that point where you've repeated it enough, or you've otherwise infused some emotional energy into it, then you've got that magic. You've got that spark. You've got the emotional side that's going to take you forward into the next step and the next step. Okay. So again, by feeling good first, we are bringing that emotional energy, and it's already there before we even start our work. And it really does make a difference. This is why athletes, when they're focusing and feeling good that they're making all their shots and visualizing it, they actually do make more shots. They don't need to go and practice their free throws. They can visually practice free throws in their mind, and it still helps. Science backs all this stuff up. It is not woo-woo, crazy BS stuff. So, and also on a more practical level, when you take that time and when you do some mood boosters, whatever you want to call them, mantra moments, mantra magic time, whatever, when you take that time, you boost that mood and you're feeling better, you're going to be feeling smarter, or you go take a walk instead of stressing before you go make those, send those messages or ask people to join your business or whatever you're doing, or even before you go work out. If you are, I don't want to work out and I'm just going to get this over with again, and versus like if you hype yourself up ahead of time and say, this is really, going to be a great workout. This is a great opportunity that I have. That every workout matters. Even if I don't go crazy in the gym today, I'm just being consistent and I'm here and it makes a difference. And like whatever you're saying to yourself, to hype yourself up, is going to make you have better thoughts, have better, your actions are going to be better. Your work, that you do is going to be actual better. You're going to be smarter, more likable, more relaxed, more able to focus. So do that moon magic, do the mantras. Again, you can just take your bullseye and kind of look at it and be like, start out by saying your mantra. And this is where you have your main mantra is what's on your post-it notes. It's what's in the middle of your bullseye. But then you don't have to just sit there for your 10 minutes or 3 minutes or 1 minute or whatever and just say that same mantra. And you don't want to do that, because that's what we used to do. That's the old method. That's the short-sighted method. Okay. You need to go through not only again how it physically feels, but how now that you're there, what are you thinking next? Go through all of these things in your mind, and you get, basically, you're running through the scenario. This is your imagination time, and it should be making you feel really some type of way. And again, if it's not, go back to the beginning and alter something. But you should be like, now that it's August 16th and I've lost these couple inches, I am so motivated to go to the next two. I'm actually helping people. with their goals more. People are asking me, for advice, and it feels so good to be, respected and to have this energy and to receive these compliments and to be able to feel good. And I feel so much better. And I wake up now and whatever, like all the, maybe the unexpected things that you never thought of before. Now you're sitting with them, you're adding them to your mantras. And, so now those are the supporting mantras of your story. And now you've got a whole narrative that, boom, is what you're going to keep on moving towards. Okay, so whenever you have time, whenever it's fun for you, as much or as little, again, whenever you need it, you go and you revisit this and you practice it and you just remind yourself of all of that stuff. Okay, so a couple more things here before I let you guys go. Got a couple of longer ones, but hey, I know you guys are here for the business. So have that 30-day post-it note challenge. Actually, we may be almost done here. You may have to move them. You may have to add to them. Also, you can do your wallpapers. You can do reminders on your phone that pop up before you go to bed, a little reminder. Do your 8-minute mantra. Do your mantra magic moments, It's all about the feeling. So don't ever forget that, okay? And one other thing, just before we go here, I wanted to leave you with another quick practical tip. When you're going through your everyday life and you start to, let's see, said your mantras, you've been working on this stuff, and what happens next, okay? Don't wait. Don't sit around and wait, and don't fall back into your old thoughts. Oh, nothing's going to happen. Don't let yourself wallow in those thoughts because you're too busy focusing on this future that, again, is going to happen because you're a problem solver and you're going to figure out and overcome any blockages to what you want. And if you have any big blockages, you might just slightly alter it and, have a different plan. But either way, you're going to keep moving and this goal is going to help you. So we know that we're moving forward. And, we're going to fix any issues. Sometimes if there's issues, you just need to simplify. Keep it simple, superstar, okay? Remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Sometimes we get this desperate energy. We want it so fast. We want it right now. And that, a lot of times, will push away what we want from us because the universe doesn't like that negative energy. The universe and God even, they put it in the Bible. Relax, ask for what you want, be still, and remember that God is good and get it, and people kind of abuse that, but really it is the same principle. It's the principle of our reality and this holistic law of attraction. It is spiritual in some ways. And there's going to start to be situations. And first of all, your mindset, you don't wait for situations to pop up and say, oh, wow, look, it's working. You anticipate it. This is your expectation is a belief. Your expectation is a belief. That's where your thoughts meet your beliefs. So you're knowing that there are going to be sprouts. And this is, again, can be part of your supporting mantras. Some people especially are going to have trouble, even with their bullseye, their great story. They're going to have trouble actually realistically putting themselves into that situation again, especially if it's body, especially if it's deep. And they need that little help. And you can look for these supporting and these, I love to think about sprouts and wins. The little wins, the little sprouts at the beginning, that's what you're going to be looking for, okay? There's going to be little sprouts that are going to start popping up everywhere. And if you're looking for them and if you're expecting them, they're going to pop up faster. They're going to pop up more. And again, the more fuss of a the more fuss you make over these little teeny sprouts in the beginning, the more care you give to those little sprouts, taking care of them, again, making sure they have just the right amount of water, emotional, intensity and action, supporting them, and then they grow into the big garden. Use this analogy, okay? We're sprinkling seeds. They're going to grow. Don't worry about it. Again, we're lifelong learners. We figure things out. If anybody can do this, I can do this, and I'm not going to give up. So we're going to do this. So you eliminate the desperate energy. That's key. That's where a lot of us, again, get blocked. So identify the sprouts. It's common This is probably more common for me to talk about the sprouts to myself and to notice the sprouts and say my sprout mantras than it is for me to go through my whole what I want mantra. The bullseye, the time you spend with that might be once or twice a day. Beginning into the day is really good, before and after sleep. Good time for that. These sort of things, these little quips, they're coming in to help you out all day, every day. Even like in the road, in between transitions, you just got done working, you just got done working out. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling sore. That's a sprout. Oh, look, I got a muscle poking out that I've never seen before. That's a sprout. Somebody liked that post. That's a sprout. Wow, 30 people actually saw this live. That's a sprout. Any growth at all is celebratory, keeps you in the positive expectation mindset, keeps your excitement up. It's fun. It's exciting, and it'll kind of help you keep in zooming in with that momentum and just going through the roadblocks. Again, there's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be obstacles. They're always going to help us. And if you look at, instead of having the poor me, oh, why does this always happen to me? Like every time I try to start something new, this just happens. Well, that's something that you're telling yourself because you hadn't gotten the right mind frame before you started. Any of the times, probably. So any issue, any problem is always an opportunity to fix a problem that's there and get better. That mentality and doing that is how we live our best life. It's key for living our best life and getting just better and better and better. So thanks for being here. I'll be back soon. Talk to you guys later. Bye.